Welcome. My name is Felicity Ezewuike. You must have at some point heard the fuss about the 16 days of activism. If not, maybe you've heard about the UN International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, marked annually on November 25. Well, the date marks the launch of the Unite campaign, an initiative of 16 days of activism concluding on the day that commemorates the International Human Rights Day. That's December the 10th. It is all about preventing violence against women and girls, which remains one of the most prevalent and pervasive human rights violations in the world. The UN believes that this scourge has intensified in different settings, including the workplace and online spaces, and has been exacerbated by post-COVID-19 pandemic effects, conflicts, and climate change. The solution lies in robust responses, including investment in prevention. The 2023 campaign, Invest to Prevent Violence Against Women and Girls, calls on citizens to show how much they care about ending violence against women and girls, and to call on governments worldwide to share how they are investing in gender-based violence prevention. While gender violence is a global problem, a 2020 study suggests that about 44% of African women experience gender-based violence. The global average is 30%, this according to UN figures. In this first half of One Slot, we'll be joining the global movement focusing on Africa's worrying data. My guest is a social worker and programs coordinator, HOA Association Zimbabwe, Shekinah Mupinda. Thanks very much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you, Tosin, for having me.
They say the data don't lie. Are the figures true, to your knowledge, that there is a spike in the cases of gender-based violence in Africa? If yes, give us an overview of the prevalent forms that gender-based violence manifests against African women.
Thank you, Tosin. So the evidence when it comes to GBV cases, it's overwhelming. You'll find out that there are different forms of gender-based violence whereby, that are affecting young women, such as stigma, financial barriers, unreported cases when it comes to gender-based violence, as well as little or no access to resources, or they can't access resources at all. Yeah, so those are some of the forms of GBV that are prevalent in Africa that are affecting young women in general.
All right, Shekinah, my name is actually Felicity. Tosin is the producer of the program.
Sorry.
It's perfectly fine, I understand. All right, what factors contribute to the higher incidence of gender-based violence against African women compared to the global average?
When it comes to the fraction that contributes to African women compared to the global average, you find out that some of the most significant challenges that contribute to GBV to the global average include the pervasive patriarchal cultural attitudes. That's the system, the structure of inequality between men and women, male-centered, male-controlled or male-oriented cultures. And patriarchy is not only it's a structure of force that influences power, be it whether it's abusive or not. So those are some of the contributions. And also there's an issue of poverty. Most countries in Africa are still developing. You find out that household, like one household, there's little or no income that is coming in. When a man is unable to provide, this then results in frustrations and can result to displacement of anger towards maybe the wife or children. This can be violence or even emotional abuse. And then there's also lack of, implementation or action in legal matters. The reported cases when it comes to gender-based violence cases. I think those are some of the contributions to GBV against women compared to in the African context, compared to the global society.
You've alluded to it, but we know that the talk about culture in Africa and its impact is very prevalent. So I'd like you to talk about this. How cultural norms and societal expectations contribute to the perpetration of violence against African women?
Okay. In the cultural context or norms and values, women are expected to be submissive to a male family member or in any aspect of their life. These are rigid gender roles that often result in expectations that women must be submissive to men. You cannot contribute to decision making, and you cannot. Your voice does not matter, and equal decision making between a man and a woman. Shared beliefs and expectations on how women should behave, women should dress, or how women should be or speak. These are also contributions to that. And young women, and there's an issue of coercive when it comes to control. Like young women are supposed, or girls are supposed to be submissive. You're supposed to listen to a man. The social expectations, girls are valued as wives, not as individuals. That's now leading to early marriages. Young women are forced to, enter marriages before the age of 18, and 18 and below, you're still considered a child. That then hinders them from, going to school. They suffer from sexual exploitation as well as reproductive health problems because they are still developing, they're still young. This then affects them, their health-wise. Yeah.
Are there any specific initiatives or programs that you are aware of that, initiatives that effectively help combat gender-based violence in African countries?
I stand corrected, but the issue of genital mutilation has been banned in many countries, and most countries have adopted a multi-sectoral approach. This involves all stakeholders in the development and implementation of programs to protect and also involve women and girls and consider their rights when it comes to gender-based violence. I can speak, I'm from Zimbabwe, I can speak in the context of people living in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, there has been an increase in awareness of gender-based responsive laws and services. The provision of health care when it comes to women who have been affected, psychosocial support, legal aid to help victims by offering, services. For an example, there's an organization called Musasa Project. They help victims of GBV, offering them safe shelter, legal services. They also offer them life skills. So when they reintegrate into their communities, they have somewhere to start from, and they can start income generating projects that can help them sustain. And also, my organization where I work, we offer support to young people that are victims of gender-based violence, that are children that have been affected by gender-based violence through our services and initiatives that we do with them in these communities, such as counseling and psychosocial support. These are some of the services that are not for free, but then we give them to young people for free, for them to access these services for free. Because when you are a victim, you need to go back to the right state of mind. Your mental health is affected. So we then come in and offer these services to young people so that they can be okay, and we can also raise awareness when it comes to those issues.
Okay, you mentioned the work that your NGO do, and I know, I mean, this is a slight deviation, and I know that in order to provide these services, you require quite an amount of funding. How do organizations like yours and others cope with finding funding to sustain the work that you do? And let's specify with Zimbabwe where you are. What has been the government's response to ensuring that gender-based violence is reduced to the barest?
So like I said before, multi-sectoral working, multi-agency working, that's what most organizations do in order to curb this problem, in order to, raise awareness or, implement programs on gender-based violence by working together, complementing. And as organizations, we complement the government's efforts in curbing this issue when it comes to gender-based violence. So, yeah.
What about the laws about protecting women? How forward-looking is the situation of the law in Zimbabwe and any other African country that you're aware of?
In Zimbabwe right now, the laws have been strengthened because you find out that in each and every police station, there's a victim-friendly unit whereby if you are a victim of GBV, you go there, you report your cases, and they help you until the matter is resolved. And they also can find ways for you to get access to services. Because this, victim-friendly units, they don't just work on them, like, they just don't work by themselves. They also have, social workers that are there, psychologists that are there, so that when you come through, you can get full access to the services, and get your help.
Okay, let's look at other aspects of working to prevent more violence against women, and that's law enforcement. There's been concern that sometimes when women go to law enforcement agencies or go to the justice system, they're not as effective as they should be. How can law enforcement and justice systems be more effective in addressing and preventing violence against African women? Of course, as always, you can domesticate it to the situation in Zimbabwe.
I think it now also goes to, advocates for GBV, or for them to actually go and advocate for policies and laws that promote gender equality, and also have approaches that go beyond individual level to change the perceptions and attitudes of the community to a broader community level. Law enforcement, strengthening their systems in how they now help people when they come through. Because sometimes you find out that someone is scared to go to the law enforcement because maybe they are scared to be called, to be called like you're a snitch. I don't know how you say it. You're a snitch, you have snitched, but then have protective measures of when someone comes and reports their cases, don't, talk to them in public. Maybe if someone wants to say out their issues in a private way, they should allow that so that they can feel safe.
What role does education play? I mean, there's those educate a woman, educate a nation, the future, and all of that. What role do you think in this instance it will play in preventing gender-based violence?
The education plays a significant role. I think it's very important for gender responsive education to start in schools, because this is whereby it starts. Like now, if young people are educated, they become aware and they can protect themselves. And you also find out that not only does GBV affect, young women or people that are educated, people that are not educated, but people that are educated and people of high status are also affected by GBV. So it's also important to raise awareness to the larger community, to everyone, to the causes. Because some people don't even know, because they might take it like if I'm being heated, if someone is beating me up, it's normal, whereas it's not normal. So it's very important for us to educate and raise awareness on that issue, not only in schools or to young people, but to everyone.
Staying under the general cover of education, I want us to talk about the use of technology and social media. We know there's a hashtag, a global hashtag that's no excuse on the 16 days of activism.
Yeah.
How can technology and social media be better leveraged to raise awareness?
Okay, we can leverage the social media and technology by using online tools to campaign and raise awareness on the issues of GBV and mobilize for gender equality for action on GBV. And also, social media helps us amplify the message because, with social media, you have a great reach. You can reach people that are, everywhere because nowadays people use technology. So now using social media, we can pass through the message and raise awareness on the issues of violence against women and girls, as well as men, because men are also affected by gender-based violence. And also social media, it enables women to break down barriers and access educational opportunities, start businesses, and participate in the global economy. You don't only need to be at a desk sitting behind a chair for you to educate yourself, but you can use social media to break those barriers and educate yourself as a woman.
All right, I want you to speak generally to the 2023 campaign team, which is Invest to Prevent Violence Against Women and Girls.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to speak generally I want you to speak generally on this year's theme of Invest to Prevent Violence Against Women and Girls.
Okay.
Yeah, you want me to repeat it? I'm happy to.
Also, we should.
You want
yes,
me to?
Please repeat.
Okay, I'm asking you about this year's theme for the 16 days of activism, the day for the elimination of violence against women. This year's campaign theme is Invest to Prevent Violence Against Women and Girls. My question to you is to speak generally on the idea behind this broad theme.
My thoughts on the theme Invest to Prevent Violence Against Women is, I think they should, we should, invest in women and girls, not only in, marginalized, in areas that are, but also in marginalized areas, involve everyone, involve young girls that are in marginalized areas, because some people that are coming from the rural areas are most affected when it comes to GBV. So when we are investing, we should also include them in our planning and implementation of any initiative that we want to do.
Shekinah, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Okay, I thought I lost you for a moment. Okay, let's look at the 16 days of activism. It's been going on for quite a number of years. What's your assessment of the impact it has had on ending general gender-based violence against women?
I think the message is out there. People are pushing the message on social media, and organizations are doing, different initiatives to raise awareness of the issue of gender-based violence. So I think, people are working very hard to raise awareness, and not only is it women and girls, but they are also including men in the discussion when it comes to gender-based violence, which is something that is very good and great.
How can men be involved? Because that's actually my next question. How can men be better involved in promoting the campaign?
Okay, so not only men are affected by GBV, but some men are also, not only men are, they are, the perpetrators of gender-based violence. But, they also are victims of gender-based violence. Now, due to cultural norms, because of stigmatization, they can't really come and support. But now, because men are called to come, they also sit down and also discuss and say out their views on what they think on gender-based violence. They're given a platform to express their feelings. And yeah, because you can't end the problem when you can't involve, the person that is causing the problem or what you think is causing the problem. So having each and every gender, male and female, in the discussion, it's making a change when it comes to educating and raising awareness on this.
While we're thinking about the more engagement for men, it's true that there are areas in Africa that still assessing those areas is quite a bit of a challenge, even here in Nigeria. Are there any specific challenges and barrier to data collection on the actual, number of violence against African women? Because we know that some people say the figures that are being presented are quite inadequate in capturing the exact level of violence against particularly African women. So what can you tell us about some of these barriers?
Okay, the issue, like I said before, underreported cases that are not reported. Because most of them in rural areas, in marginalized areas, these cases are not reported. Like I said before, someone might see, if you beat me, this is normal for me to get beaten by my husband. And then they don't go and report, even rape. Because, someone might say, okay, my own husband raped me, it's not normal. But then, yeah, you can be raped by your own husband. So this also now limits the actual numbers, or this now, the actual facts of, reported cases or cases of GBV. I think in Africa, because I'm sure it's happening everywhere, whereby, the knowledge or the education on GBV, it's not reaching everywhere, it's limited. Therefore, the actual numbers are not here.
All right, I'd like you to speak on innovative approaches that are required that have been used in the past to help with preventing violence against African women. What are some of them that, maybe one or two that you can share with us, innovative approaches that has helped in intervening to prevent further violence?
Innovative approaches and initiatives that have been used in the past or that are still being used now, I can say maybe the life skills training, women getting funding to start businesses and taking care of themselves. That's one innovative initiative that has been used. And also using, the survivors of GBV being put in the upfront for them to speak to other people that are being affected by GBV. This has also worked to curb or to reduce GBV.
All right. I guess that's where we'll have to leave it for now. Thank you very much for your time and your insights, Shekinah. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll take a very short breather, and when we come back, we'll be looking at enhancing Africa's creativity. What's that about? Stick around.